Is there anything else you're using?
I think that's the suite. So Avention, if I understand correctly, didn't Avention acquire Hoover's? How did that work?
No, Hoover's DNB acquired Avention. And Hoover's and Avention are the same business, basically. Think of it that way. Or same product line.
Got it.
Can you give me a couple of use cases? You've used Hoover's or you've used the master data or optimizer products for? I mean, what have you guys used them for, and kind of like what has been the end result that you guys came out to?
So personally, when I use Hoover's, it's the one-off lookups. It's the sort of trying to gather intelligence around a specific company, and that's the way our sales team uses it as well. Honestly, I'm not as close to the sort of the way it connects into our data team, but obviously it's the same intelligence that's ultimately informing our data warehouse and consequently sort of treeing up into everything that feeds the audience that we target and prospect against.
Understood. And do you know roughly the data or the product that you're getting? Is that just something you can get on Google? You can just search it and you'll get the same data, or is there any differentiation in the data that you're getting?
So in other words, do we get better intelligence from Hoover's and Avention than one could get merely by Googling the company's name?
Correct. And what would be the differentiation if you were getting some data that's helpful, that's not on like just Googling pretty quickly?
Yeah. So
I'm just trying to understand the differentiation of what you're using from Hoover's.
Yeah, I mean, you do see a corporate hierarchy within Hoover's, so you can see sort of the titles of a couple key folks. I don't remember seeing that on Google. I can't say that I've actively searched Google for that kind of intelligence. You get the news feeds, but of course you would get that with the Google. It's structured in a consistent way, which is certainly helpful. So knowing exactly where on the page I look to find revenue and number of employees and that kind of intelligence. The drill downs that are available in Hoover's I've used occasionally, which, honestly, I'm generally disappointed when I use them because they're infrequently populated. I'm working off of memory, and to be honest, I don't use Hoover's that often personally, just given the fact that I'm on the marketing side. But when I do sort of reactively need to grab it, those are some of the things that I think about.
Understood. And how accurate is the data provided by Hoover's versus other competitors you've used to maybe look up the same company or the same person?
Yeah, that's a good question. So in fact, we just went through an effort to sorry, I apologize for the background.
That's fine.
We are targeting a healthcare-specific pilot, and we did sort of a scrub against our own database and sort of compared that to Hoover's. So essentially, our database is fueled by salespeople who are giving us real-time intelligence about who the company is and what they're interested in. Obviously, they're a direct one-to-one conversation with the prospective customer, so you'd expect that to be some of the best data. I was happy to find that when we compared that against D&B, there was about 90% consistency between the two, both in terms of revenue size and industry. So, obviously it's good intelligence. In fact, sometimes we trust D&B. In fact, in many cases, we trust D&B over our own intelligence. When we take in new leads, for example, at ADP, our first step is to check whether D&B has the number of employees associated with that lead, or